Hi all, Goda Govinda. This is Madhava Lasya from ML channel. So today we are going to discuss about um, mental health, the importance of mental health, and also versus self care indulge. So how to avoid mental health. I mean, I wouldn't say avoid, how to take care of ourselves, especially with respect to mental health. So what is mental health? So let's start from that. Mental health includes our emotional, social, and behavioral well-being, right? It affects like how we think, feel, and also act. So that is what is important. It also determines how we handle the stress, depression, and how we can relate it to others and make good choices. So it is very important at every stage of life, from childhood and adolescence through the adulthood as well. So that is about the mental health. Another thing is why I'm talking about mental health is mental health. I really want to I really want everybody to understand, like, mental health problems are really very common, just like just like any other health issues, like heart disease or diabetes or any other disorders. Mental health issues are very common, but good thing is like we have help is available, and we have help is available, and there are many people over there to help. So I just want to break the stereotype where it is mentioned mental health problems means it's something different from the other health disorders, like diabetes, heart attack, or hormonal issues, or whatever it is. And they started isolating the people rather than helping them. So as a community, we should understand the awareness of the mental health, and also like how we treat them. So that is what I admire from the people living over here. When I went to an emergency care for getting treated for one of the issue, I got to know from the nurse practitioner NP from that room, that she undergoes counseling every month, and it is a part and parcel of her life, because they work 12 hours a day, and in 3 or 4 days they have to complete 40 hours, so that they would get like rest of the week as a off. So in order to handle the stress and situations, and in order to serve the community better, she has to go through the counseling, as well as she has to take care of her mental health. And she just told me it's just nothing. That's where I thought people should be made aware of mental health issues, and they should not ignore anybody, or they should be aware of what are the symptoms of early warning signs of mental health, rather than waiting until people who try to take their lives off. So if we can figure it out, how we could identify a person who has a mental health issues, or who is struggling with mental health, with stress, with depression, or whatever it is, we should try to figure it out earlier itself, and then we have to show our support and encouragement, and making them understand that it is just a part and parcel of our life. Because right now all of our life are very stressful. So even we might be having suffering from stress, depression, but we don't have anybody to share all those things. So that is where we have these counselors, and psychiatrists and everybody. So if when I mention psychiatrists, that doesn't mean that they only treat lunatic persons. That is absolutely a wrong phenomenon. It is actually a taboo. So I just want to make sure that we are understanding what is a mental health problems is. It is just like any other issue, and then what are the early warning signs, so that we can identify within ourselves, and also within our friends and families, and we can just, hey, what, I guess you need to get a counselor, or you need to consult you need to go to counseling in order to avoid this future. Of course, the other person would be panicked at the initial first time when they hear about mental health problems, but we need to make them understand that, hey, this is just like any other disease, right? Diabetes or whatever it is, that's okay. Help is available, get the help, you'll be fine. And right now all the insurances covers mental health problems, so it's just like a specialty treatment, that's it. So it is not a disability or anything which we did describe as. And people with mental health problems can get recover much better, and may recover completely also. So identifying the early warning signs, prevention is always better than cure, right? So likewise, identifying early warning signs is always helpful. So let's discuss some of the warning signs, and why we are getting it, and how we could indulge self-care to avoid all those things. See, again, I'm not a medical professional to propagate all those things, but then just because I know many of the cine stars, and many of my friends went through stress, and we ourselves went through stress a lot of time. So it's better to create awareness, so that everybody is aware, and we are just breaking the taboo of it. First of all, eating or sleeping too much or too little. That is because of the tiredness is fine, but every day if you're eating too much, every day you're sleeping too much, that means there's something wrong. And that is because of stress. Pulling away from people and usual activities. So you don't want to be in a group anymore. You just want to, stay away from people. You don't want to socialize anymore. Then that is a rising alarm. Having low or no energy, that is a main symptom of this mental health issues. I mean, it could be because of any other deficiency as well. I'm not denying it, but it could be also because of stress, feeling numb or like nothing matters, and then like having unexplained aches and pains, feeling hopeless, like in a smoking, drinking and unusual, and feeling unusually confused, forgetful and angry, upset, worried for even for petty things. And yelling and fighting with friends and families is acceptable, but more than even for petty things, if they are getting anxious, say for example, they lost a pen and they're getting anxious for it, and they are having a meltdown for having lost a pen, that means they're having some serious stressful situation where they have to get treated. And then severe mood swings that can cause problems in relationship, and then having persistent thoughts and memories, which are not optimistic but pessimistic, that you can't get out of your head. And then hearing voices and believing things that are not true, unusual assumptions, and also hearing voices, that is called auditory illusions or visual illusions. They are also a problem of these mental health issues. Thinking of harming themselves or others, oh my goodness, that is a worst case symptom. That would not thing. And inability to perform daily tasks, taking care of kids, taking care of themselves, and ability to work and everything. So that is what thing. And then those are the early signs of this. Mostly we have to consider about auditory illusions, where they keep on hearing some voices, and then another thing is believing things that are not true, easily influenced by others, or unnecessary assumptions, oh, you're doing this because you don't want to do it, and then thinking of harming themselves or others, that is a worst case thing. And then inability to perform daily tasks, you cannot do your work properly, you're not able to focus well, or you're feeling so sleepy, or you don't like to be socializing with others, or you feel so depressed and low, and you are just trying to be alone. I mean, of course me time should be there and trying to be alone. So basically, you should get professional help whenever it's required. And most of the problems, let's discuss why we are getting all these mental health issues. First of all, self-care is missing in your life. So that is where we are getting this mental health issues. We are always putting our families, friends, and our kids as the first priority rather than ourselves. Self-esteem is very, very important. So that is also, it's lacking. And then do activities which will make you happy. And also finding faults at others, and trying to mock others in front of others, in the sense especially this happens around spouses. Oh, boys are all like that. Oh, girls are all like that. And it's saying oh, wives are always like that. They do not even take care. They always try to get on top of their husband's head. So those kind of passing jokes, comments, it will really affect certain spouses, because I am very particular. I don't like those kind of comments being passed, whether it's any spouse, and even I condemn people who are doing it. And I also condemn wives also chastising their husband in front of others, saying you're always like this, he'll not take care, and not supporting or not taking the positive aspects of the spouses, rather than working on negative aspects. Because of course I see not everybody is full of positive or full of negative, but if you find any issues with the spouses or kids, just tell them, hey, I want to talk to you for a few minutes. I don't think so this behavior would work out, so what could we do? So those kind of resolving the issues together helps us a lot, rather than chastising in front of others, stating wives are always like that, husbands are always it doesn't make sense. So that will give them will give them a discouragement of what they're trying to do. And then small petty things, appreciating your spouse's household chores or work or anything, whether it's a wife or husband, right? It doesn't matter. I mean, in this current generation, both of them are cooking, both of them are sharing the household chores. If that is not happening at your house, then it's better to start right now. Please do start right now, because gone are the time where only wives would do all the household chores and husband would just not do it. Now it's just a partnership and everything. So that's what marriage works. So why I'm focusing on marriages right now is like most of the mental health issues are caused because of the marital relationship or relationship between the adults. Of course, kids also has that, but kids at least, like, there are certain things which I explained in a parenting skills, like, how to cope up with kids, like, and not to blame them or berate them in front of others, rather than like tell them what is a positive thing. So this session I thought we can focus on marital relationship with respect to mental health. So and listening is very very important when it comes to taking care of mental health, because the other person wants us to listen because they are just pouring their heart out, whether they are angry or mad or upset. Just listen. I mean, like, we have to put ourselves in their shoes. Of course, I agree, like, we have our own limits, but at the same time, just listen. Just think like other person is having some health issues and you're just listening. If other person has fever, if other person is like yelling at you, like, will you yell it back at them? No, right? Or another example I would say, like, if a born baby is kicking you, will you kick the baby back? That is so stupid, right? Likewise, like, if people are angry or upset, if they want to talk to you, then please listen. Don't just like give your advice or suggestion at the first time itself, without listening fully. And then, like, be there to support them, because like mostly I'm telling it for both husbands and wives, because like most of the times, like, the spouses are failing to listen to their partners, like, rather they are just giving their advice and leaving the place, which is very very bad manners. First of all, like, we should not leave a place when a person is talking to you. That is a very very bad manners. Like, that is disrespectful to the other person, whether it's a wife or any relationship or any person it is. We should never leave the place when a person is talking to us. That is a very disrespectful to the other person. Please don't do it. Like, if anybody is still doing it, please, I humble request, please, let's stop doing that. And then, like, taking self-care, like, supporting the spouse in doing the work which makes us feel happy, like whether it's like waxing, or like going for a class, or outing, going for a restaurant, taking them to the restaurants, or going for a massage, or like those are all like self-care. Self-esteem is also very important. Like, I know, like, many wives or husbands, like, if they decide not to work, that is fine. That doesn't mean that they should not, like, hide their talents, or just confine their talents only to taking care of the family or friends. They can actually, like, use their talents in a better way. I know, like, some of my friends, like, who are very good at artists, like, they still, like, taking care of the family, as well as like, earning money by for taking care of themselves. So money is important. At the same time, it's not the only important thing, because that will give us more self-esteem, and not dependent on our spouses to like to earn money, or to get some to get some things which makes us feel happy. Like, if your spouse loves to do shopping, let her do shopping. I mean, but again, like, you both sit together and then, like, plan and budget, do the budgeting together, saying like, hey, what, like, this is what is happening. I guess we are spending too much of money in shopping or in electricity, so where we can cut down. I mean, instead of discussing like that, if you're just telling him, oh, don't go for shopping, then that will cause an effect, right? So that will affect their thing. They're saying like, oh, what, like, I love to do shopping, but he's not allowing me. Maybe he doesn't love me, and that will actually, like, build up to a certain level where they'll get mental health issues. And so trust is very important. Some people, like, prefer trust than getting jewelry or clothing or anything as a gift for the spouses. Of course, those things are important. And if your spouse is like cooking for you, just appreciate it. So appreciation is very very important. Appreciate, and at the same time be a critic as well, in a positive way, in an optimistic way. So that is also very very important. So it is a part of a regular health issues that so let's not isolate mental health issues as a part of this one. And then, like, and if you feel like getting angry on any person, on any person, but if you are hesitant to like express it, then, like, go to Sriman Narayana, and then, like, pour your heart out, saying like, hey, what, like, why these people are so rude to me, like all these, because I myself do it. Because, like, if I'm mad at anybody, I would directly go to Sriman Narayana, of course, in the form which I like, which I showed in my another video, like whom I love, which form of Sriman Narayana I love him the most. So I would just go to him, because he's my husband, right? Because I did wed him. So like, I would go to him and I just pour my heart out, saying like, why she's doing it, why is he doing it? It doesn't sound right to me. Like, why is this is happening, why the society is doing like this? Because the same thing I did for COVID. When people are getting affected by COVID, I just talked to him like, why people are getting affected because of this one, like, why nobody is taking shots, why people are so careless, in thinking about whether shots is there or not. Those things, like we have to express it, because we are all humans. We have to express our emotions. We are not yogis or maharishis who just control all their emotions. They are all a different level of souls, right? But we are just like ordinary souls, so we need to express our emotions towards someone who could listen and respond back. So Sriman Narayana is the right person for me. And if you feel like, if any of your parents or your spouses or your kids are not willing to listen, because they are all humans, but Sriman Narayana is definitely not human, right? He is willing to listen to us. So at some point of time, like all our relations, might turn against us, but Sriman Narayana does not. So if you have any angriness, I mean, if you're mad at someone, even if you're mad at yourself also, just tell it to Sriman Narayana. If we pour our heart out, then he feels so happy. You can actually yell at him, saying like, "Hey, why this is happening to me? What did I do wrong?" and everything. Even though it is happening because of karma, that is okay. Let's be true to ourselves, and then tell him, and then see the difference. It will all really help us. So that is what. So self care is really, 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 really very, very important when it comes to actually mental health. So this session is very short, because I don't want to drag it so much. I'm just trying to keep my sessions within 30 minutes. So I hope since I'm not a professional medical person or medical professional, so I cannot comment more than this. But what I could mention is I want everybody to be aware about the mental health issues. Is not an isolated part of the life. It's very common. It just starts with stress, and then it can go till depression, where it can harm themselves or others. So, and we are getting help for everywhere. We are getting help for every type of mental health problems, and it can be cured completely, and by taking counseling, and if you identify the issues or anything. So it's just take it a day at a time. If you're getting stressful, listen to music, listen to dance, or go to a dance class which makes you feel happy. At the same time, be truthful to Sriman Narayana or to your spouses, or whom do you think a trustable person. To me, Sriman Narayana is my trustable person, most trustable person than anyone else in this world or in this entire creation, I would say. So I would always reach out to him and pour my heart out, even if I'm angry towards him, saying why you did not tell me all these things, why you did not give me an alert, these things did not happen. And I would have all these conversations with him, every minute, every day. He has become a part of my life, I wouldn't say part of me, he's become my life actually, sorry. So in that case, it's better to express your angerness. At the same and draw a line. If somebody is trying to force their opinion upon you, you just tell them in a very nice way, hey, you know what, I know this works, but I think it doesn't work for me, because I am not this kind of a person. So let me try out whatever I think it's right for me, and then then I'll try it out whatever is good for me. And also, when it comes to spouses and in-laws relationship, I would suggest in-laws also should be able to understand what the new couple should be going through it. And they should not be pestering them all the time. I'm not blaming everybody, but I'm pretty sure everybody would have phases at one point of time where interfering in-laws. So let's stop that stereotype of being an interfering in-laws. Rather than, let's be supportive and then take care of everyone in a very nicer way, because care and love is what everybody expects. So we need to be more empathetic, as well as compassionate towards others, by putting ourselves into the other situation. Otherwise it would cause serious health issues as well as mental health issues too. So in order to avoid it, let's be more practical. At the same time, let's try to understand each and every situation and take good choices possible, by always listening, and also taking the right appropriate decision, which should be apt for the family. So please do self-care, and please follow your self-care routine often, no matter what others says, because if it's making you happy, please do it. That doesn't mean that you should be smoking cigarette or doing alcoholic things or anything like that. Definitely I'm not supporting any of those activities. But if listening to music, going for a dance class, or going for a window shopping, or just shopping in Amazon, gives you a little bit of happiness or relief, then why not go for that, right? And also in order to draw a line, as I explained before, you work with your partner and then determine how much you have to spend each day, or each month for shopping, so that both of them are coming to the common agreement, and it's drawing a line. At the same time, you are not sacrificing your self-care. So that is what it is. You can even go for a workout, and every workout session has like the childcare or facilities also available. You can do whatever job, whichever you like, rather than thinking about how will my kid will grow and everything. I'm not saying leave the job right now, but you can think it in future, how would it would affect you if it is really stressful. So that's all for today's session. Thank you so much. Next session we will be discussing about Rasa Krida, like what is Rasa Leela or Rasa Kridai, and then myths about Vaishnavism as well. So let's see in next session. Until then, please take care of yourself and spread a word about this channel also, if you feel it is a right channel for everyone to listen. And have a blissful life, have a blessed life ahead. Thank you so much. Goda Govinda.